Heartwarming discovery, new Maid exposes amazing truth in portrait of her daughter's father. Maria Rodriguez wiped the sweat from her brow as she considered the day ahead. From the moment she stepped inside the Johnson family's opulent home, the weight of her world settled on her shoulders like the heavy dust that cloaked the fixtures in their grand living room. She was a mother first and a maid second, battling the relentless cycle of bills and groceries for her spirited 6-year-old, Sophia, who filled the quiet moments with laughter. But it was in this house, amidst the portraits that hung like silent witnesses, that Maria stumbled upon something she never expected. It was a portrait of a young soldier, framed in an ornate gold piece that contrasted starkly with the sterile walls. His striking features, they were uncannily like Daniel's, Sophia's father, who vanished from their lives 3 years ago. The image of this unknown soldier paralyzed Maria for a moment, and her heart ached with the weight of bittersweet memories. Recollections of their dreams flickered through her mind, family picnics in the park, birthday celebrations full of laughter, and whispered promises of a beautiful life together. Maria found herself lost in thought, the vacuum cleaner forgotten at her feet. In this affluent home, where laughter echoed off marble floors, she was reminded of the solitude that gripped her nights, her evenings filled with sleepy bedtime stories that echoed loneliness instead of joy. An involuntary tear threatened to fall as she thought of all that was lost with Daniel's departure, leaving a gaping hole in her heart that Sophia's innocent giggles could barely fill. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As days passed, Maria felt a simmering curiosity ignite within her. Who was this soldier? How was he connected to the Johnson family? The more she learned, the more questions she had. A conversation with Mrs. Johnson revealed not just the sorrow of their family history, but cracks in the facade of wealth and privilege they were struggling to, albeit in ways that felt distant from Maria's grinding poverty. The rift between the Johnsons hinted at unspoken grief and longing that transcended their material comforts. As Maria confronted her own poverty, she faced the depth of the disconnect between their lives. The well-meaning gestures from the Johnsons, laden with pity, only underscored how out of touch they were with her reality. Yet there was a strange kinship forming, a shared humanity amidst their divided worlds, with Sophia's innocent laughter bridging the gulf. The soldier's portrait lingered in Maria's thoughts, drawing her deeper into an emotional labyrinth. Just as pieces of a fragmented family history began to appear, she unearthed a shocking revelation that turned her world upside down. The memories of Daniel's promises loomed, asking one undeniable question: what did family truly mean? As Maria gazed at that soldier once more, her heart heavy with unfulfilled promises, she stood at a precipice. Her search for answers wasn't just about the past, it was about her future and the legacy she would leave for Sophia. In that sunlit living room, a quiet storm brewed. What truths would emerge from this beautiful but broken tapestry of love and longing? Every heartbeat echoed with unanswered questions as the winds of change began to whisper secrets only the walls could hear. Maria stood frozen, her gaze pinned to the portrait, heart racing as her thoughts spiraled like a storm. She had to know more. The soldier's eyes seemed to call out to her, begging for understanding, for connection, reminding her of Daniel. What if this soldier was the key to unlocking her past? What if his story intertwined with her own in ways she couldn't yet comprehend? Determined, Maria made a plan. The Johnsons' library, a cavernous room filled with dusty tomes and framed accolades, might hold the answers she sought. But with each step toward that room, she felt a mix of hope and dread. Curiosity twisted within her, urging her to unearth whatever was hidden behind those walls. Would she unlock sweet revelations, or would she stumble upon family secrets too heavy to bear? The next day, when the house was quiet, Maria ventured into the library. Dust floated in the sunbeams filtering through stained glass, creating an air of mystery. Shelves lined with books towered above her, rich with stories waiting to be discovered. She ran her fingers across the spines, searching for anything that could shed light on the soldier. A family history. Letters. Anything. Maria's heart leaped when she discovered a weathered leather-bound journal tucked away on a high shelf. She reached for it, her fingers trembling. The moment she opened it, the scent of old paper and ink filled her lungs, intensifying her desire to dive into its pages. Inked letters told tales of love, loss, and an ongoing struggle for connection, everything Maria recognized about family. But one entry caught her eye, one that spoke directly of the soldier. As she read about a young soldier's deployment, she felt a chill run down her spine. The compassion of a woman waiting for her return. The unbreakable bond of love forged in tough times. The anguish of waiting, unsure of what the future held. Tears pricked at Maria's eyes as she understood the depth of longing reflected on the pages. It mirrored her own feelings of waiting for Daniel, the man who had disappeared from their lives without warning. Then she saw a name: Michael Johnson. The realization hit her like a tidal wave. This soldier was part of the Johnson family's history, their own scars reaching back into the same shadows that haunted Maria. Her throat tightened as she turned the pages, searching for more. Michael's letters to his beloved were filled with dreams of family and returning home, dreams that often felt painfully unachievable. Just as Maria began processing these connections, Sophia's laughter filled the silence. The joy of her daughter's voice cut through the heaviness, reminding Maria of the life she was fostering. But how could she build a future for Sophia when the past still haunted her? Maria closed the journal, heart racing. She had stumbled upon a beautiful yet painful tapestry woven with loss and hope. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a question loomed larger than ever: what secrets could she uncover about Michael, and what would that mean for her and Sophia? The journey ahead was uncertain, but Maria felt the weight of unfinished stories urging her forward. Just when she thought she'd uncovered it all, she noticed something glimmering in the corner of the journal. A photograph slipped between the pages, capturing a moment that might change everything again. What if this picture contained clues that would turn her world on its head? Maria carefully extracted the photograph from the journal, her heart pounding with anticipation. It was old and yellowed, the edges curled slightly as if it had been cherished and handled many times before. The image depicted a group of young soldiers, lined up beneath a massive oak tree. They wore uniforms, smiles bright against the backdrop of a sunlit day that seemed almost too good to be real. But it was one face in the photograph that held her captive. He stood third from the left, a younger version of the soldier from the portrait. The same piercing eyes, the same strong jawline, was framed by dark hair. The man was full of life, exuding a spirit of hope and friendship. Maria felt an electric jolt run through her. This was Michael Johnson, not just a name she had read but a man who had lived and loved, just like anyone else. Turning the photo over, her breath hitched. Notes were scrawled in elegant, looping script. To my beloved. May you always know I carry you with me, wherever I go. The words danced on the paper, igniting a new determination within her. This wasn't just the past, it was a bridge to connecting her own story with theirs. She longed to understand the woman who had received these letters, to know what she had felt as she waited for Michael's return. But as Maria grasped the significance of this connection, a wave of fear crashed over her. What if unraveling this history forced her to confront truths about her own existence? She steadied her breath, pushing back the tide of anxiety. Daniel had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions in the hearts of those who loved him. Was she ready to dig deeper into history that echoed her own pain? Rachel, the housekeeper, walked into the library, her presence grounding Maria. With a bright smile, she carried a cup of steaming coffee. "You look like you found treasure," she exclaimed, eyes sparkling with curiosity. Maria hesitated, considering how to share the weight of her discovery. It's complicated, Maria replied softly, glancing at the photograph resting on the desk. This soldier he connects to the family here. There's more to their story that I need to understand. Rachel nodded, her expression shifting to one of empathy. Families often hold on to stories that are hard to share. Sometimes they can illuminate the darkness, a light in the shadows. Maria knew Rachel was right. The past could unravel threads that made up her present. But was she ready to face whatever lay hidden in the Johnson family history? The library felt charged with unspoken words, every corner thick with anticipation. Just then, Maria remembered a mention in the journal about a family reunion, a gathering to honor the soldiers and those they left behind. Had she missed an opportunity to learn even more about Michael and his beloved? With renewed resolve, she decided to reach out, to find someone still living who could share the stories lost to time. Maybe the reunion could hold the answers she sought, a connection to not just Michael but the fabric of love surrounding him. Rushing out of the library, Maria felt as if the shadows were pulling back, revealing a pathway ahead. What secrets would she uncover at the reunion? How would it change her understanding of her own journey and that of Sophia? As she stepped outside into the cool evening air, she felt the stirrings of hope once more. But uncertainty lingered like a whisper. Could the past hold the key to her future? With every heartbeat, she sensed a new adventure unfolding just beyond the horizon. With every step Maria took down the worn path leading away from the house, a mix of excitement and trepidation surged within her. The photograph burned brightly in her mind, a youthful soldier bursting with life, and even more, the words of love penned with such tenderness. It was as if the echoes of the past were calling to her, urging her to uncover them. The drive to the reunion was almost mechanical, the familiarity of the road twisting her thoughts in endless loops. What would she discover? Would there be anyone who remembered Michael? Or perhaps, even more miraculously, someone who knew of the woman he loved? Her heart raced with the possibilities. As she parked near the community center, Maria noticed a banner draped across the entrance. Honoring our heroes, it read in bold, vibrant letters. The phrase struck a chord deep within her. Those words were not just a tribute, they were a beacon for the stories that needed to be shared. She swallowed hard, reminding herself of the purpose driving her here. Stepping inside, the atmosphere was alive. The rich aroma of coffee mingled with the sweet scent of pastries. Families gathered in clusters, sharing laughter and memories. It was a collage of life that both thrilled and unnerved Maria. She felt like a stranger in a world that buzzed with history, yet her heart urged her to seek out those connections. "Can I help you?" A kind, old man approached, his eyes twinkling beneath a weathered cap. His presence felt reassuring, almost like a warm blanket against the chill of uncertainty. Taking a deep breath, Maria shared her reason for being there. "I'm looking for information about Michael Johnson," she said, her voice steady. The man's eyes softened, and she could almost see the memories washing over him. "Ah, Michael. A good man. He brought a light to this community," he replied, confidence etched into every word. "You know, he left behind letters for someone special. Someone named Sophia, I believe." At the mention of the name, Maria's pulse quickened. Could it be that the very woman whose heart had been intertwined with Michael's was waiting for her to find those echoes too? "Where can I find her?" Her voice was filled with urgency, the same determination propelling her through the library just hours before now gripping her once again. "One moment," the man said, rummaging through a pocket full of slips of paper. "Try talking with Mary Ann, she's his niece. She might know where to find Sophia or at least have some stories to share." "Thank you," Maria said, feeling the weight of destiny settle like a cloak around her shoulders. As she ventured deeper into the gathering, a sea of faces blurred until she spotted a woman with kind eyes, resembling the old soldier in the photograph. This had to be Mary Ann. She approached, heart racing ahead of her. "Excuse me, are you Mary Ann?" Maria asked, the words tumbling out before she could brace herself. "Yes, that's me," the woman replied, curiosity dancing in her gaze. Maria introduced herself, her voice barely above a whisper as she revealed her quest for answers, her connection to Michael and the woman he had loved. Marianne's expression shifted from intrigue to something deeper, a look that spoke of recognition and understanding. "Would you like to hear more? Come, we have a place to talk." As Marianne led her to a quieter spot, anticipation bubbled in Maria's chest. What stories would unfold? What revelations awaited her here, nestled within the tapestry of Michael's life? But unease twinged at the edges of her excitement. Would the truths she uncovered heal the fractures in her own heart, or deepen them? Just as they settled in, the sound of laughter echoed, pulling Maria from her thoughts. What if uncovering the past only led to more questions, stirring up pain she was not prepared to handle? As she looked into Marianne's eyes, hope flickered, battling against doubt. Would this fleeting moment alter the course of everything she thought she knew? And as she opened her mouth to speak, ready to delve into the stories of love and sacrifice, she found herself wondering, could the echoes of the past reshape her future? Marianne settled into her seat, her body relaxing slightly as she looked at Maria. The soft light filtering through the window illuminated the lines on her face, each one a testament to a life rich with stories. Maria felt an unexplainable kinship with this woman. Michael was loved by many, Marianne began, her voice steady and filled with warmth. He had a way of making everyone feel special, like they were the only person in the room. Maria leaned in closer, her heart pounding. And Sophia? What was she like? At the mention of the name, Marianne's expression changed, a flicker of nostalgia passing through her eyes. Sophia. She was a firecracker. Full of joy and laughter. They were so young, but the love they shared was palpable. I remember as a child seeing them together, the way they looked at each other. It was something special. The words made Maria's heart swell. She hadn't realized how deeply she needed to hear about Michael's love. It was as though the pieces of a puzzle were clicking into place, each story a connection to the man she had barely known, yet felt so connected to through his letters. What happened to her? Maria asked hesitantly, the shadows of doubt creeping back in. Did he ever? Marianne's eyes dimmed briefly. After the war, things changed. Michael came back, but Sophia was gone. She faded from this world too soon. We never knew exactly where, or how. The air between them grew heavy with unspoken loss. Maria could feel the weight of Marianne's memories hanging in the balance, the unfulfilled love they both shared, each having searched for something more. I found letters, Maria confessed quietly, the urge to share her connection compelling her. In the attic, where I grew up. They were filled with love and longing. Michael wrote about his dreams for them, about a future together. Reading them, I felt as if I could almost reach into his heart. Marianne nodded, her gaze filled with understanding. Those letters were his heart. Michael believed in that love until the end, and maybe still does. Maria looked down, brushing a hand over the table as she contemplated the enormity of it all. Do you think he ever moved on? Found someone else? Marianne paused for a moment, reflecting. It's hard to say. Sometimes, love isn't something that fades away. Perhaps in his heart, he kept it alive, a flame that never extinguished. Sometimes, you carry those memories with you for strength. The notion warmed Maria, but she couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness. Was that the path her own heart was meant to take? The thoughts raced through her mind, the weight of her own past and its lingering pain mixing with the stories of Michael and Sophia. As their conversation continued, Marianne began recounting tales of Michael's army days, the moments of laughter, the fears and friendships forged in trenches. Each of these stories enriched the canvas of Michael's life, and Maria could feel a profound connection forming through time and experience. What about the letters? Marianne asked suddenly, a twinkle returning to her eyes. Do you still have them? Maria nodded, her determination solidifying. I do. I want to honor his love for Sophia. I want to understand the man he was. But Mary Ann. What if I found her? Is it possible she is still out there alive? Mary Ann leaned back, considering Maria's question, her heart heavy with possibility. The room fell silent, filled only with the chatter from others enjoying the reunion. Hope flickered brightly between them, a vision of destiny connecting threads across time. Everything is possible, Mary Ann finally said, her voice thick with emotion. Especially when it comes to love. There are stories waiting to be told. What should I do next? Maria whispered, the words trembling in the air like a new promise. Mary Ann smiled softly, the weight of the past blending with the uncertainty of the future. You owe it to the love they shared to search for Sophia. You might just find answers and perhaps, a purpose for your own heart. With those words, a new fire ignited within Maria, illuminating the path before her. As the shadows of doubt began to lift, she felt a sense of urgency surge through her veins. And just as she was ready to ask Mary Ann for more direction, the sound of a voice from the crowd caught her attention, a familiar tone that made her heart skip a beat. Maria? Is that you? The voice was sharp and clear, sending ripples of recognition through her. This wasn't the moment she expected, this wasn't just another ordinary day. As she turned her head towards the sound, an unexpected figure emerged from the crowd, shrouded in memories and possibilities. Who was this person? What truths would they bring to light? Maria's heart raced as she squinted through the warm light, straining to recognize the face belonging to that familiar voice. It was like searching through fog, feeling memories swirl around her. The face slowly became clearer, and she gasped, her breath hitching in her throat. Julia! She exclaimed, shocked and overwhelmed. Her childhood friend appeared as if pulled straight from the pages of her past. Julia looked older, wiser, and immediately brought forth a wave of nostalgia crashing into her. Maria! I can't believe it's you. Julia's arms enveloped her in a tight hug, grounding Maria as memories of laughter and late-night talks danced around them. The reunion felt like coming home after a long journey. Pulling back, they studied each other, smiles spreading across their faces. How long has it been? Julia asked, brushing a stray hair from her face. 10 years, maybe more. Maria replied, disbelief coloring her tone. What are you doing here? I just moved back. Trying to reconnect with my roots, I guess, Julia said, her gaze wavering slightly. And I heard about this reunion. I had to come. Without thinking, Maria shared her newfound mission with Julia, her intent to find out more about Michael and Sophia, the connections that sparked new understanding within her. Wow, that sounds incredible, Julia said, her eyes widening with intrigue. And that makes sense, you always had a knack for uncovering hidden stories. It was nice to have someone who understood her desire so deeply. Gripping her hands, Maria suddenly felt nervous. But what if I find out something I wasn't expecting? What if Sophia's story is complicated? Julia looked at her closely, her expression sincere. Sometimes the most complicated stories are the ones that matter most. Don't shy away from the truth, Maria. You deserve to know. Maria listened, her heart swelling with encouragement. It was exactly what she needed to hear. But alongside the thrill of rediscovery, trepidation clawed at her. What if everything she uncovered stripped her of her idealized vision of the past? What if love was not enough to heal all wounds? Let us start together, Julia suggested, breaking Maria's spiral of fear. When do we start searching? Sensing an urgency, Maria replied, I want to go to the archives tomorrow. I heard there might be records or letters, something to help me uncover Sophia's story. Then I'm coming with you. Julia said enthusiastically. Let us make a day of it. We can dig and talk like old times. Maria's heart fluttered at the thought of diving deep into this quest with Julia by her side. It felt right, almost as if fate had aligned their paths at this moment. But just as excitement welled within her, a dark flicker of worry crept back. What if Sophia was forgotten, lost to time and silence? Would they truly find her, or merely unearth echoes of a past that had no resolutions? "Thanks, Julia. I really need this," Maria said, grateful to have an ally as they ventured into the unknown. As the evening progressed, they spoke of their lives, dreams, and regrets. Inside, though, Maria was fixated on the thought of tomorrow. The suspense of discovery electrified the air, mingling with the reminiscences of their platonic love. Suddenly, a troubling thought hit her. What if we do find her, but she doesn't want to be found? Julia reached over and squeezed Maria's hand. Then we honor her choice. But at least you'll have tried. Sometimes, that's the bravest thing you can do. With those words, a mixture of resolve and uncertainty washed over Maria. You're right. It's time I faced whatever waits for me. They shared a quiet moment, the background noise of laughter, music, and life swirling around them. The energy was vibrant, pregnant with possibility. Then, as they prepared to depart, Julia's expression shifted, her eyes narrowing slightly. Maria, wait. There's something else I've been wanting to tell you. Maria's heart jumped. Was it about Michael? Sophia? What is it? You're not going to believe this, but I think I know who Sophia is, Julia whispered, glancing around as if the information might slip away unnoticed. Breath caught in Maria's throat, a rush of anticipation surged through her. Could this be the clue she had been seeking? What do you mean? Maria asked, leaning closer, her pulse racing with the thrill of revelation. Julia met her gaze, the weight of what she was about to say pressing against the silence. Let us talk somewhere private. The urgency in her voice gripped Maria, and she felt a new chapter waiting to unfold. Would this be the breakthrough for which she had been longing? The answer lay just beyond the horizon, waiting for them to uncover it together. They found a secluded corner of the cafe, a small nook where the sounds of clinking cups and laughter faded into a soft hum. Julia leaned in, her voice low but edged with excitement. You remember Mrs. Green? The neighbor from down the street? Maria nodded, memories rushing in of the sweet old lady who always had a kind smile and freshly baked cookies. Of course. She was such a dear. Well, Julia continued, her eyes sparkling like stars in the early evening sky, I ran into her last month when I was moving back. We started chatting, and somehow, your parents came up. Her voice trailed off, anticipation hanging in the air like a ripe fruit ready to fall. Maria leaned forward, eager to absorb every word. And? Julia hesitated just a moment longer, gauging Maria's reaction. She mentioned a woman named Sophia. Said she used to come around the time your family did. She remembered something about a painter and a portrait of a little girl. A jolt of realization hit Maria, sending warmth coursing through her. Sophia was that little girl? Yes. And that's not all. Mrs. Green told me Sophia's mother was quite talented. There were whispers about the painter, rumors, of course, but they think he might have a connection to your family. With each word, Maria felt the past unfurling before her, like peeling back layers of an old photograph. What if that painter was my father? She whispered, the thought both thrilling and terrifying. Julia nodded, her expression earnest. That's what I'm thinking too. We need to dig deeper. If Sophia was tied to your family, there might be records or letters, or even more stories. Maria's heart raced as the possibilities blossomed. Could this be the breakthrough she had been hoping for? Could discovering Sophia mean confronting the ghosts of her father's past? She felt a weight shift inside her, a sense of urgency mixing with the fear. What if we find out things we don't want to know? She asked, the question slipping from her lips before she realized it. Julia's hand found Maria's again, squeezing gently. Then we handle it, together. You won't be alone in this. Maria looked into her friend's eyes, feeling a surge of gratitude. Thank you, Julia. I really don't think I could do this without you. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, she said, her own heart glowing with the warmth of their friendship. Let us make a plan. We need to get to those archives tomorrow and see what we can unearth. As the night wore on, they exchanged old stories, weaving them into the fabric of their newfound mission. Each tale seemed to fortify their bond, reminding Maria how precious their friendship had always been. Just when she thought they had exhausted every memory, Julia paused, a thoughtful frown creasing her brow. So, what happens if Sophia doesn't want to be found? Or worse, if we discover something horrible? A shiver ran down Maria's spine, but she swallowed it back. There was a heavy but necessary truth in those words, one she hadn't fully prepared herself to face. Then we'll find a way to honor that, just like you said before. Julia smiled, though worry danced behind her eyes. We can break this cycle, Maria. This doesn't have to haunt you. You are stronger than your past. That night, as they parted ways, Maria lay awake, her mind swirling with possibilities. Each ticking second brought fresh anxiety, anticipation, and curiosity. Dawn would mark a new chapter in her life, but questions hovered like shadows. What had she stumbled into? With Sophia's story taunting her, would tomorrow bring light or simply more darkness? As sleep tried to embrace her, Maria felt the weight of her choices pressing against her chest. She would go to the archives and face whatever history awaited. But just then, another thought flickered in her mind, igniting a new flame of worry. Was it possible? Was there more to this story? What if the truth would change everything she thought she knew? Tomorrow would unfold the mystery, but it could also unravel everything. The ambiguity of what lay ahead clenched her heart, and she closed her eyes, hoping for clarity. But then again, maybe clarity was the last thing she wanted. The morning came softly, sunlight slipping through the curtains like fingers beckoning Maria to rise. She felt a tight knot in her stomach but pushed it aside. Today was the day to dig into her family's history, to piece together fragments of a forgotten puzzle. After a quick breakfast, filled with nervous sips of coffee, she met Julia outside her apartment. Ready? Julia asked, her voice filled with unshakable enthusiasm that seemed to ignite something in Maria. She nodded, though doubt lingered in her mind like a stubborn shadow. At the local archives, the air smelled of old paper and dust. Rows of shelves towered high, filled with boxes of documents and photographs. It was both intimidating and thrilling. They found a desk near the back, away from the hustle of researchers, where they could spread out and begin their search. What's the first step? Julia asked, glancing at the clutter of papers they had just pulled from their bags. Maria leaned over the table, flipping through a thick, faded ledger. It felt like opening a time capsule. Let's start with anything on my family name. Maybe it'll lead us to Sophia. Hours passed in a blur of scanning through countless names and dates. With each turn of a page, Maria's anticipation grew, but so did her anxiety. What if they found nothing? Or worse, what if they did? Finally, as she reached for another document tucked away in the back, she froze. Scribbled across the top was her father's name. Pulse racing, she pulled it free, unfolding the brittle paper. The ink was faded, but the words felt alive. Julia, look at this. Maria exclaimed, a mix of excitement and dread flooding her voice. Julia leaned in, her breath hitching. What does it say? It's a letter addressed to Sophia's mother. Maria glanced back at her friend, wide-eyed. It talks about a portrait, a promise to capture their daughter's spirit on canvas. This has to be about the painter. Julia's face lit up, yet there was hesitation behind her excitement. What else does it say? Maria's eyes scanned the letter. Each line seemed to push against the walls of her emotions. There were mentions of longing, of love and distance. It sounds complicated. My dad, he was giving her something beautiful, but there's something about heartache too. Taking a deep breath, Maria pressed her fingers against the paper. What if this portrait was a symbol of something lost? Something he never recovered from? Tension settled in the space between them like a thick fog. This revelation opened up doors that Maria had never anticipated. We might need to find Sophia. Maybe she knows more about why my father felt this way, why he never spoke of it. Then let us do it, Julia said firmly. We'll find her. We owe it to your dad. And to Sophia. They deserve to have their story told. The air felt electric with determination. Maria sat back, heart racing once more as the enormity of their task loomed. What if Sophia was waiting for them, expecting them to uncover the truth? But what if she didn't want it found? Their search had taken a sharp turn, and questions multiplied like stars in the night sky. I just hope, Maria began, her voice barely a whisper. I hope it doesn't break me. Suddenly, a thought flashed in her mind, a question that sent chills racing through her. What if Sophia had been looking for her all along? What if their paths were meant to cross? As Maria stared out the window, lost in thought, uncertainty filled her chest once more. We have to find her, she murmured. Whatever it takes. They forged ahead, unaware of the storm of emotions waiting just beyond their next step. Somewhere out there, Sophia held the key to everything. Would it unlock their past or shatter the fragile bonds they dared to reconnect? With steely resolve, they packed their findings and readied themselves to seek out Sophia, wherever she might be. The next chapter was about to unfold, but would it be a reunion or a reckoning? Maria stepped out of the archives, the letter still clutched tightly in her hand. The sunlight felt different now, illuminating not just the world around her, but also the path ahead, one that was fraught with hidden truths and unspoken emotions. Her heart raced as every step brought her closer to Sophia. Are you okay? Julia asked, concern creeping into her voice. Maria nodded but could feel the weight of her uncertainty settle deep in her stomach. Just thinking about my dad. About how much he must have struggled with this secret. Secrets can eat you alive if you let them, Julia replied, her tone thoughtful. But sometimes they can lead to healing. You're brave for wanting to face this. Together, they walked toward the local cafe, where they planned to sketch out a plan. The chatter of patrons and the aroma of fresh coffee filled the air, but Maria barely registered any of it. Her mind was consumed with visions of a young girl, Sophia, who might hold the keys to her father's heart. Okay, let us get to work, Julia said, pulling out a notebook and pen. We need to figure out how to find her. Do you have any leads? Maria shook her head. Not really. I only know the name of her mother from the letter. She paused, thinking carefully. But if she was an artist too? In fact, that might be the starting point. Art communities, local galleries, things like that. Smart thinking. Let us start looking for her mother's exhibitions. I bet there are records or notices somewhere. Their search became a flurry of ideas and quick searches on their phones. Each moment spent scouring through online posts and local art history made Maria feel more alive and connected to her family's past. An artist's legacy could offer insight not just into the art, but into the relationships tangled within it. As they continued to gather information, Maria stumbled across an old blog dedicated to local artists, and there, among faded photographs of galleries and past exhibits, she spotted a familiar name, Sophia Reed, promising talent 25 years ago. A gasp escaped her lips. Look at this, Julia. It mentions a showcase at the city's community center. Julia leaned closer, her excitement matching Maria's. That must be it. We should definitely check it out. It could lead us to her. But as Maria's thrilling discovery sank in, a new wave of apprehension washed over her. You know, what if she's not ready to discuss any of this? What if she resents my family for not being there? Then you'll take it one step at a time, Julia reassured her, placing a hand on Maria's arm. You can't change the past, but you can choose how to handle the truth now. Maria nodded, the idea comforting yet daunting. You're right. I just need to be ready for whatever she has to say. No matter how hard it is. After a few more hours of planning, they decided to drive to the community center the next day. The evening stretched before them like a hush before a storm, filled with both promise and threat. As they left the cafe, Maria paused outside. The streetlights flickered on, shadows dancing around them. Julia, she said suddenly, what if we're not just uncovering the past? What if we're creating a new one? A smile broke across Julia's face, brightening the moment. Exactly. This could be an opportunity for all of you. Just imagine a chance to reconnect. But as Maria stretched her thoughts toward possibility, a lingering fear clung to her. What kind of new paths would they uncover? Paths filled with beauty, or ones that might lead to heartache all over again? Their night faded into restless dreams, where the quiet voices of the past stirred and shadows of long-lost truths whispered in the dark. Tomorrow would be game-changing. Maria's heart raced with hope and apprehension as the thought settled in her mind. What would happen when they finally came face to face with Sophia? Would they truly be ready for the revelations that awaited? The morning sun peeked through the clouds, painting the sky with hues of gold and orange. Maria stood, looking out the window, her heart pounding with anticipation. Today was the day she would meet Sophia, the missing link in her father's story. Are you ready? Julia's voice broke through her reverie. Maria turned, finding her friend's unwavering support nearly contagious. Ready as I'll ever be, she replied, a knot twisting in her stomach. The warmth of their connection fortified her, and together they ventured toward the community center, where so many questions awaited. With each block they passed, Maria felt an electric thrill coursing through her veins. They arrived to find the building bustling with artists, their laughter and chatter weaving into a vibrant tapestry of life. Maria took a deep breath, inhaling the mixed scents of paint and coffee, trying to steady her racing heart. As they stepped inside, a world of color exploded before them. Paintings adorned the walls, each one a glimpse into the souls of their creators. But Maria was on a different mission today. She wasn't here to admire the art, she was here to find a piece of her past. Taking Julia's hand, she scanned the room. We need to find someone who knows Sophia, Maria said, urgency in her voice. Within moments, a familiar voice erupted from the crowd, sending warmth cascading through Maria. Maria! Over here! Standing at a table was Marianne, her radiant smile beckoning them closer. I'm so glad to see you both. Welcome. Did you come here to support Sophia? Julia asked, eyes sparkling with curiosity. Marianne nodded. Absolutely. She has a talent you wouldn't believe. This showcase is the perfect place for her to shine. Yet the weight of what Maria sought hung in the air, thick and unyielding. Marianne, can you help us find her? She asked, her voice laced with hope. We need to speak with Sophia about Michael. A moment of silence stretched between them, the gravity of Maria's request sinking in. Of course, Marianne finally replied, her eyes softening. But she might not want to discuss the past. It's been a tender subject. Maria steeled her resolve. I understand. But it's important for both of us. It might even help her find closure. The search began in earnest. They mingled through the crowd, glimpsing artwork which resonated with fragmented emotions, each stroke a reminder of lost connections. Then, out of the corner of her eye, Maria spotted her, a woman, standing in the glimmering light, immersed in admiration of her own piece on display. With her heart pounding fiercely, Maria approached, each step feeling like a leap into the unknown. Sophia turned, her expressive eyes widening with recognition. This was not just another artist, this was a living connection to her father's life. "Hello," Maria managed, her voice trembling. "I'm Maria Rodriguez. We need to talk." Sophia's brows furrowed, suspicion dancing in her eyes. "Talk? About what?" "About Michael Johnson." The name hung in the air like a chorus, resonating from the depths of their intertwined stories. Understanding flickered across Sophia's face, the weight of the moment heavy with unspoken history. "What do you want?" "I found his letters," Maria breathed, desperation spilling from her. "He wrote about the dreams he had for you, the love that connected you both. I need to know your story, to understand what happened." Sophia's face hardened briefly before she softened, confusion mixing with vulnerability. "You knew him then? After all these years?" "I didn't know him well, but his words were full of love." "He never forgot you," Maria whispered earnestly. Sophia hesitated, glancing sideways at Marianne, who nodded gently, urging her to engage. "All right," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've been looking for pieces of my own past. But it's complicated, my memories are wrapped in joy and loss." Quiet murmurs filled the air as they settled into a corner, surrounded by the warm glow of the café. With every word shared, the weight of history began to shift. Sophia spoke of Michael with an honesty that intertwined pain and beauty, a love that endured despite the scars of parting. "He was everything to me," Sophia admitted, emotion thickening her voice. "But when he returned from the war, I was gone." Tears stung Maria's eyes as truth washed over them like a nourishing rain. "He always carried you with him," she said. "Those letters were his heart. He never forgot." Sophia's facade began to crumble, revealing the depths of a love that never truly faded. "I thought I lost him when I was forced to leave, but hearing this brings a spark of what I thought was forever extinguished." The conversation unfolded, layers of grief and hope intertwined. Each word spoken resonated with the echoes of their pasts, uniting their hearts through shared tears and laughter. And in that moment, Maria understood. They were not just uncovering secrets, they were healing wounds, bridging the distance between hearts once torn apart. They shared not only their pain but a new sense of belonging. As relief washed over them, a new bond was formed, a promise to honor the love that was once lost and cherish the potential of healing together. "Do you want to see the portrait?" Sophia asked, her eyes full of light. Maria nodded, her heart swelling with anticipation. The bridge connecting their lives was growing stronger, fortified with the intertwining threads of shared stories. This was just the beginning of a journey both women needed to embrace. The evening unfolded with laughter and new beginnings. Maria felt hope blossom even brighter in her heart, understanding that the past, while haunting, could lead to healing. And as they stood together, Maria took Sophia's hand, ready to build a future that honors the love that persisted, one filled with promise and light. Together, they would rewrite destinies, wrapping their lives in rich fabric woven with love, understanding, and the joy of new beginnings. The journey for answers was far from over, but today was a victory, a testament to the power of connection. They were just starting to understand that love, in all its forms, could guide them through the darkest shadows into the brightest possibilities. And as they left the center, laughter ringing out behind them, a new chapter shimmered just ahead, waiting for them to explore. Friends, this is where you can get involved. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Seriously, it makes a difference. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.